Happening right now, we are on top of several breaking stories. Tropical storm Imelda gaining strength, but good news for the Carolinas. The latest track hasn't moving away. Plus, a tragedy at a church. One person is dead, several are hurt in Michigan after a shooter fired his weapon this morning, then set the building on fire. This as we are grieving our own mass shooting here at home in North Carolina. 3 people dead, 8 others injured in a popular beach vacation town. Hi there, I'm Ben Briscoe. Right now, police are investigating a shooting at a bar near the coast. This is breaking news that we first brought you at 11 o'clock last night. Governor Josh Shine posted a statement a couple of hours ago saying, "I am heartbroken by the shooting last night in Southport that tragically took 3 lives and injured others." He added, "Southport is a small but strong community. May we all come together to support them as they heal from this horrific shooting." Investigators say a man on a boat opened fire along the shore, shooting into the American Fish Company, where people were just having dinner on the water. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman has the latest on the investigation.
Leaders in Southport say it's extremely rare that an act of violence like this one took place there, saying they challenge people to not let this define the city. Police say 40-year-old combat veteran Nigel Edge is accused of opening fire last night from a boat into a crowd gathered at the American Fish Company in Southport, which is a historic port town about 30 miles south of Wilmington. Police say Edge piloted a small boat close to the shore, which was lined with bars and restaurants. He briefly stopped and fired, then he sped away. Southport's District Attorney John David says this kind of thing just doesn't happen there.
The thin veneer of peace and tranquility which has enveloped this idyllic waterfront community was shattered last night by gunfire that came from the water. When the dust settled, 8 people were shot, 3 of them are dead, and at least 1 is now clinging for their life.
Officials have not released the names of those victims, as many of them were visiting from out of state.
The thread that connects everyone who's a victim in this case to this point just appears to be a love of having a good time and enjoying all that Southport has to offer. Sadly, a lot of the victims in this case appear to be not members of our community, but people who are here on vacation.
Investigators are still trying to figure out the shooter's motive. We should learn more when Edge is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow. He is being held without bond.
New at 6, another tragedy, this one inside a church. Michigan police say 2 people are dead and at least 8 others are hurt after a shooting at a Mormon church. This comes just 1 month after 2 children were killed and 21 others were hurt during a shooting at another church in Minneapolis. Jen Sullivan has the latest out of Michigan.
A Sunday morning service turning to horror when police say a man armed with an assault rifle opened fire inside a church in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan.
There's an active shooter at the church. I need manpower up here ASAP. I have people trapped in the building. Repeat, people trapped in the building. We got children inside too.
That frantic 911 call alerting police to an active shooter at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, about 55 miles northwest of Detroit.
He rammed the vehicle through the front door, exited, then started firing shots.
Police say multiple people were shot, and the gunman was killed by 2 law enforcement officers. Adding to the terror, police say the shooter then set fire to the church.
We believe that was deliberately set by the suspect.
The horrific act shocking this community of about 40,000 people.
This kind of violence doesn't happen in our community.
Neighbors watching in disbelief as thick smoke billows from the church.
I'm completely distraught. This was a quiet neighborhood. You know, we've never seen anything like this.
As this community grapples with grief, the church website now reads closed. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Right now, Winston-Salem fire search and rescue teams are headed out to support state emergency crews as Tropical Storm Imelda approaches the coast. Let's check in with meteorologist Claire Fry, who's been tracking this closely. Claire, it looks like the forecast on this storm just keeps improving for the triad.
Yes, fortunately, the trends are continuing to show this pushing away and east, away out to sea, away from the Carolina coastline as it heads north into the next couple of days. Here's a current look at Tropical Storm Imelda. It is moving north between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Winds are sustained at around 40 miles per hour. It is just northwest of the Bahamas. Then we have Hurricane Umberto, very organized, Category 4 intense hurricane right now, just to the east now of Imelda. Likely going to continue to push northwest, not going to be a threat to land, but could bringing to land as in like us here in the United States, but could bring some tropical storm force winds to parts of Bermuda by Tuesday. Here is the latest track of Tropical Storm Imelda as of the 5 o'clock advisory into the day on Tuesday. That's when we're really going to see this start to kind of kick out east and away from the area. By then, it could still be a very strong tropical storm or even a Category 1 hurricane at that point in time. Most models again are in agreement that this is going to take a sharp turn toward the east heading into early this upcoming week. Only one model has a different opinion, and for that, of course, we're gaining more and more confidence that this is not going to be as much of a problem as we would have anticipated just a couple of days ago. A look right now at the satellite and radar. A lot of moisture currently sitting offshore with low pressure still across our area. An isolated shower or two is possible into the night tonight, but mainly just going to see more and more cloud coverage ahead of showers into tomorrow and especially into the day Tuesday. We have these scattered showers. Some of them are going to be heavy for both of these days. What you can do, make sure you have the rain gear and make sure you're tracking the radar. So a closer look at our futurecast into the day on Monday, really starting to see those widespread scattered showers becoming more and more widespread for the afternoon and evening. Going to be in the upper 60s to right at around 70 at best. Same thing into the day on Tuesday, off and on showers continuing throughout the day. Biggest threat within these showers is going to be that they're locally heavy and some low-lying spots are going to be a little bit more sensitive to flooding. Flash flood risk for our area, it's a level 1 out of 4. That is a low risk. It is much higher just along the coastline where they can expect really up to around 7 inches in some of those spots if the storm continues to send waves of moisture their way. For us here at home, up to around an inch or so here in the next couple of days. Starting to dry out, we're going to be feeling like fall later into the week. Lower 70s, mid to upper 70s, a little bit warmer for the upcoming weekend.
The storm could also cause some rip currents at the North Carolina coast. We'll explain why and how to stay safe when Claire digs deeper into the forecast at 6:15. Happening right now, police are investigating after airport officials found a body in the landing gear of an American Airlines plane down in Charlotte. Officials say the plane landed this morning from Europe and maintenance workers discovered the body shortly after. Charlotte-Mecklenburg police have not identified the body, but they're working closely with the airline to find out what happened. This investigation is limited to this one plane and it's not impacting other flights at the moment. This weekend marks a year since Hurricane Helene tore through western North Carolina, a storm that changed communities across the state forever. WFMY News 2's Vanessa Ruffles looks at the progress that's been made and the pain that still lingers, along with the resilience of those rebuilding.
We are seeing a lot of signs of Helene starting to disappear for some. For others, the wounds are still very fresh, and such is the case for the family of Kim Ashby. She's the Avery County woman who was actually taken by floodwaters, and to this day, she has never been found. 1 year after Helene,
my brother and I went up there for Mother's Day.
And Jessica Meidinger says the landscape where her mother went missing has already moved on.
And we walked a lot of the river, and a lot of the areas that we had searched. And it's crazy how quickly, Mother Nature takes over.
It's not as easy for her.
The reality that a year is coming up and that this thing that still doesn't feel real. I still catch myself trying to pick up the phone to call her.
On the morning of September 27th, 2024, Meidinger's mom, Kim, and stepdad, Rod, woke up inside their brand new retirement home in Avery County. The nearby Elk River had swollen overnight with rain before Helene even hit.
They heard a crack, and something had hit the house, and one of the footers of the house became dislodged. At this point, the whole house kind of slid into the river.
As the house itself careened down the river, Rod tried to save Kim and their dogs.
He managed to kind of crawl across the debris to her. They hit this very large tree and they went in opposite directions. And so that's the last time my mom was seen.
Rod survived. In the days that followed, Kim Ashby's family, neighbors, and even complete strangers joined his search, hoping for the same outcome for her. Thousands shared her picture online and donated recovery funds for the family.
And just so much like beautiful humankind, just caring for one another kind of people came out. And a lot of Western North Carolina, they took care of their own 100%.
But week by week, every search turned up empty-handed. And in November, the family decided to give the teacher of more than 20 years a final goodbye, knowing she was still out there somewhere.
And some of our students came out, which was wonderful, and other teachers. And it was, we wanted it to be a celebration of of all the good and all the just kind things that she put out in the world, and how much she helped kids grow, and how much she helped us and the people we are because of her. And so,
just before Thanksgiving, on the property her mom once dreamed of having her first white Christmas, Meidinger and other loved ones decorated a tree. An effort to make a loss Meidinger calls surreal more tangible.
For sure, and it felt emotionally like it wasn't a real thing, because to be able to see a body, or to be able to know that exists, kind of, I think, unlocks something in your brain, unlocks something emotionally that allows you to kind of process in a different way.
Now, on the 1-year mark of the day her mom was taken from her, closure feels complicated, much like the mountain land that brought her family so much joy and loss.
Maybe this is meant to be her final resting place. And, if we were to find her in the future, great. But if not, we can be at peace knowing that she's in a place that she loved.
Federal officials say billions of dollars have been appropriated for recovery from Helene, but much of that money today is still moving through agencies like FEMA, HUD, and the USDA. Leaders say progress is starting to pick up, with more reimbursements now reaching those who need it.
We've got a long way to go. We've got a lot to celebrate here in Western North Carolina of what we've accomplished in such a short period of time.
Officials say they are pushing for reforms to speed up disaster relief, while also celebrating the resilience of communities across Western North Carolina. With this weekend marking 1 year since Helene, you can stream our 1-hour special, Helene, 1 year later, coming up at 6:30 right after Claire's weather here on WFMY+.
Welcome to News 2 Sports. I'm Bryce Parker. The Carolina Panthers made the trip to New England today to take on the Patriots. The Panthers were looking to win back-to-back games for the first time since the 2022 season and build off of a huge win last week against Atlanta. But today did not go as planned. The Panthers offense was rolling to open the game. Bryce Young sets his feet, finds Tommy Tremble for the touchdown to give them the early lead. But the offense would stall after that. Next possession, Patriots would be in the red zone. This is quarterback Drake May, who grew up a Panthers fan in Charlotte, played for UNC, and runs it in for the touchdown. He even pulls out the vintage Cam Newton Superman celebration. Now in the third, the game getting away from the Panthers here. May will roll left, throws a short pass to his tight end, Hunter Henry, and he would do the rest. He's going to get some good blockers from his receivers downfield and gets the score. Patriots extend their lead even further. And then late in the fourth, Andy Dalton comes into the game, throws a wide open touchdown to Mitchell Evans, and the Panthers would go on to lose 42-13. Now the Panthers will be back home next week to host the Miami Dolphins. We'll have more from today's game tonight at 11.
Switching gears now, we're going to go back to your WFMY Plus weather impact show, as we've been keeping an eye, obviously, for the last several days on the tropics and, of course, on the radar with those scattered showers just yesterday. Majority of them right now are just offshore of our area. Low pressure is located just offshore, and we just kind of have that moisture sitting off of shore as well. In our area in the Triad, mainly just seeing more and more clouds continue to kind of get funneled in from the south. from this low pressure system, and also due to the fact that the tropics are sending moisture our way, especially into Monday and into the day on Tuesday. Satellite and radar right now, we're pretty much nice and dry. There are a couple of isolated showers out toward our west over toward the mountains as well as in the foothills. There have been a couple of sprinkles throughout the day today, but for the most part, we've been nice and dry. You can see right now on the live radar, really not much to show currently across the Piedmont Triad. Flash flood risk for our area. Again, don't have to worry about that for us, but a little bit of a concern as we continue to track Imelda offshore. It is very low for the coastline for the day today. When you see green, you can go up here and look at our legend. You can see that is a level 1 out of 4. That means isolated flash flooding is going to be possible. And heading into the day tomorrow, most of our area is in that level 1 risk. Obviously going to have the higher amounts and also higher risk well toward our east, right along the coastline, where we do expect there to be more and more rounds of rainfall from future Imelda, kind of sending those our way and up the coastline. We still could see some heavy showers here, though. It's going to be pretty widespread. I don't want you to worry about tornadoes or really even any severe storms. This is more so just going to be pretty scattered, light to moderate heavy rain showers across the area. That could be bringing a lot of rain in a short amount of time when you have tropical moisture to kind of wring out across the area. Now into the day on Tuesday, we still are going to see some scattered showers, but probably not nearly as much as we do on Monday. The higher threat for flash flooding is going to stay toward our southeast. On Tuesday, this is when Imelda is going to take that sharp 90-degree turn out east and off shore away from the sea. Into the sea, I should say. Likely not going to be an issue for us, but nonetheless, we are going to be tracking some rain over the next couple of days. Rainfall that we had just yesterday, over ½ an inch in Greensboro, 0.61 inches. Other areas not seeing quite as much, but you can see kind of as you look on the legend here between the yellows and also the oranges, that there were several inches that were dumped over here toward Rockingham County as well as in Stoke. So, you know, you can get a lot of rain in a very short amount of time with this low pressure system that just has been kind of sitting in and across the area. Rainfall that we've seen so far today, really not much. Raleigh-Durham airports are a couple hundredths of an inch. Boone here just over my shoulder saw 0.16 inches of rainfall. Skycam right now, we see plenty of clouds kind of draped in and across our skies. Still, sun is trying to get through them currently, but that blanket of clouds, that's going to stick around over the next several days as we continue to see that tropical moisture getting funneled our way, along with the cloud coverage that is going to continue to increase into tonight and especially for Monday and Tuesday. Current temperatures here, we are coming up on 618. We're in the mid to upper 70s, 74 currently in Greensboro and in Burlington, as well as in High Point, 75 right now in Winston-Salem, 79 in Walnut Cove. We're in for a pretty mild night ahead. We're going to go from the 70s back into the middle 60s as we step into tomorrow morning. I really don't think we're going to get much warmer than that into the day on Monday. Mid to upper 60s to right at around 70 at best. Scattered showers really starting to become likely early at around lunchtime. I would grab the rain gear. I'd keep it with you in the back seat for both Monday and Tuesday. Keep an eye on the radar too, and be careful while you're driving. Look for ponding alongside the roads, and if you see that a road is flooded, please do not attempt to drive in it. Some of these bands could be heavier than others and cause some issues, especially in low-lying areas. So to kind of put that all together, Monday and Tuesday all day, of course, we're going to be tracking the threat of scattered showers, some of them going to be heavy, so make sure you have the rain gear and continue to track along with us and watch the radar. Now going over to Imelda, we'll talk a little bit about Imelda here for the next couple of minutes. It is continuing to push north at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the latest advisory, it's located around 55 miles southwest of the Bahamas. So we're continuing to see this try to organize over the last 24 hours or so, and it's done a little bit, but not nearly as much as our friend over here. This is Umberto. You can see those inner that inner eye wall right here that's just been super intense. This is a monster of a storm in comparison to especially Tropical Storm Imelda. Here's the latest track of Hurricane Umberto, a strong Category 4 storm with winds sustained at around 145 miles per hour. This storm isn't going to be a problem for us either, but it is going to send dangerous swells to our coastline, especially heading into Tuesday and into Wednesday. This is still hundreds of miles away, but those swells that are going to be generated from this system are going to send, again, those dangerous swells with harsh rip currents, could even cause some beach erosion along the coastline as well from this storm, and of course also from now Tropical Storm Imelda. Imelda is likely going to be a hurricane as we step into Monday evening and into early on Tuesday, if not just a strong tropical storm. The good news is this system has been consistently showing over the last day and a half or so that it's going to take this sharp right turn away from the coastline and out to sea. As it does so, again, it's going to continue to maintain its strength, but models again have come to this general consensus. Finally, I know just over the last couple of days, this completely flip-flopped from what we saw just back then. So here's a current look at our futurecast models where we're continuing to track Imelda. You can see almost all of these lines here. Each one of these lines represents a different model opinion. Want to take this storm out to sea, east and away from the area. Only one model wants to take it into the southeast coast. Earlier into this past week, these models were pretty much split on where this storm was going, right? A lot of them actually wanted to take it into the Carolinas, and the tug of war kind of won with Umberto out to sea. So this was what was kind of steering Imelda at first. We had, of course, low pressure that could help steer Imelda into the Carolinas. We thought that would be at first a bigger influence than Umberto, which has grown more strength and actually continued to kind of influence the storm more over the last couple of days, helping to kind of pull this system out to sea, also reducing our impacts here in the Piedmont. Don't have to worry so much about tornadoes or even wind. It's just going to be widespread scattered showers across our area into Monday and into Tuesday. The thing for our coastline is we are going to be seeing more rainfall and also going to see rip currents for the next couple of days. Here's the Weather IQ talking about what rip currents are and what you can expect.
Currents are the #1 weather-related killer in the coastal Carolinas. So how do you keep you and your family safe during a beach trip? Let's raise your weather IQ. First, educate yourself on rip currents and what they are. A rip current is a narrow channel of fast-moving water that can reach speeds up to 8 feet per second. That's faster than an Olympic swimmer. Now, you might be rolling your eyes. Brittany, I'm from the Carolinas. I got this. Unfortunately, that might not be the case. Data shows only 20% of rip current deaths along the Carolina coastlines are from people who actually live there. The other 80% come from inland residents, including portions of North and South Carolina. Eric Hayden is the warning coordination meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Morehead City. He says to swim parallel to the shore until you get away from the rip current.
Rip currents don't pull you under. They're very narrow. They pull you out, and your natural reaction is to try to fight and go back towards shore.
But that fight can wear you out and eventually cause you to drown. If you can't swim, there's also the option to float on your back until help arrives. And don't let a nice day fool you. It is almost impossible to see a rip current unless you're elevated above the water.
Rip currents are different. They can occur on really nice beach days. The winds can be light, can be sunny out, no thunderstorms, perfect to get out in the water.
The Carolina coast is also unique since part of it juts out into the ocean. This means we are impacted by storms well offshore.
It doesn't have to be a hurricane making a direct impact on our area. That swell reaches the coastline, and we've seen that usually a handful of times each year.
The key is knowing before you go. Check the forecast, adhere to beach warning flags, and if possible, only swim at beaches where a lifeguard is present. With your Weather IQ, I'm meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees.
Yep, that's right. Rip currents are something to take seriously, and our rip current risk across the Carolinas right now mainly low for the region, which makes sense given Imelda. It's just formed into a tropical system, tropical storm that is, and it's currently near the Bahamas. But as it continues to move along the southeast coast, it is going to up the chance for more and more rip currents. Also, Umberto, is also going to send dangerous swells our way. So we kind of have a double whammy with that. Would not surprise me by the time we step into Monday and Tuesday that all of these were high rip current risks. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on that, of course. And some things that you should know, of course, on rip currents. We talked about it in the Weather IQ, but swim parallel to shore if you get caught in a rip current. Don't fight the current. If you can't escape, make sure you float or tread water. If you need help, make sure you call or wave for assistance, and don't fight the current. A current look here at Tropical Storm Imelda as it continues to move northward around 5 to 10 miles per hour. A lot of disorganization in comparison to our friend Umberto, which is just toward the east, but certainly packing a punch. A super intense monster of a hurricane. That eye is just very well defined. That's a textbook eye of a very strong, powerful hurricane. Again, this is not going to be a threat to us, although we do have it on our radar. It's going to be more so an influence for Imelda heading into early this week. I do think it's going to maintain Category 4 strength for the next couple of days before it starts to lose a little bit of steam by around Tuesday or Wednesday. No impacts for us here inland, but for the coastline, like I said, it's going to send those dangerous swells as well as, bring in the rip currents and also cause some beach erosion from storm surge because of the big waves that it's going to be sending towards the southeast coastline from us all the way down into Florida. Same thing from Tropical Storm Imelda. It's going to be bringing a lot more impacts to the coast versus for us inland, but we still are going to be seeing some rainfall into the day Monday and into Tuesday. So here's that 5 o'clock advisory. Once again, I'm going to show you this track again, and I just want to spend some time on it to show you that this really is becoming more and more confident that it's not going to be as much of an impact for us as we thought originally earlier on last week. It is very likely that it's going to take a 90-degree turn just about toward the east and out to sea as we step into the day Tuesday and Wednesday. And I wanted to talk about a common misconception with these cones. If you don't see yourself in this cone, your city, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be seeing impacts. This is just where the center of the storm could go. So we could see the center go all the way up here to where this cone kind of ends up there in the north and also toward the south. The widespread impacts, of course, are well outside of the cone. So while you didn't see any of the Carolinas in the cone, we're still going to be impacted from Imelda into tomorrow and into Tuesday with those widespread scattered showers. The good news is almost every single model is in agreement, other than our friend here that wants to take it into Charleston. Maybe we'll just ignore him. But that is just one model out of several, right, that want to take this out to sea and make it less of a problem for us than it was originally just days ago. We thought this was likely going to be the track of Imelda, with low pressure across the area helping to steer Imelda into parts of the Carolinas that would make the coast get hit hard and also make us inland get hit hard too, with more rain and of course higher winds. Tropical storm force winds would have been possible and a tornado threat, but now this is the likely track as it continues to kind of get pulled east by strengthening Umberto. It's going to be kind of steered in and away from the southeast coastline as it continues to do so. It's still going to be bringing us a little bit of scattered showers, but for the most part, that really is all we have to worry about. Main impacts will continue to be along the coastline with those rip currents and beach erosion too, and storm surge. Future wind gusts, here's one model's opinion on what wind gusts could look like as this system approaches the area into Tuesday. You can see mainly along the coastline up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. For us in the Triad, up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour for wind gusts. So nothing too bad. A closer look at as we continue to track Imelda, I just wanted to show you just how broad this system is. That and also Umberto out on the right of the screen you can also see. But by Monday, we're already seeing impacts in some of those well outer bands starting to build into the area on Monday. Widespread rainfall still going to be possible as it continues to shoot that moisture our way into the day on Tuesday. By Wednesday, I really think we're going to start to dry out as this continues to kind of push east and away from our area. For right now, though, moisture is continuing to kind of stay off of the coastline. We are going to be seeing more widespread scattered showers into the day tomorrow and Tuesday in association with this system. But for right now in the Triad, maybe an isolated sprinkle or two, but most of us are nice and dry. We just have that cloud coverage in and across the area. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to be pretty mild. We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s and then back in the 70s for tomorrow, right at around 70 degrees, I should say. Now, in terms of rainfall amounts, I really do expect us to get maybe up to around an inch or so, with much higher amounts toward the coastline, pushing 3 to 5 inches, even up to around 7 inches. So not much rain for us, and we are going to start to dry out heading into the upcoming weekend, also warming up a bit in the mid to upper 70s.